Hey guys, so I had a subscriber ask me what to do whenever a client starts skipping services, and it kind of got me thinking. Like, man, there are certain things that clients do that you need to know how to professionally navigate. There are certain things that they do that just drive us all crazy. We're going to discuss some of those things that those requests that clients make, how you can navigate that professionally, and just some verbiage that I use that I've learned over the years that really helps you out in those situations. Let's jump into it. So right off the bat, whenever a client starts requesting to skip services, you pretty much know intuitively whether this is somebody who's being cheap or if there is legitimate concern happening at their place. Like if it is like scorching and like the grass has not grown and like you're going to be doing like damage by going in there and cutting it, yeah, like okay, if they're having work done, let's not cut the grass. But if you got the client who is doing the hey, it hasn't really grown much, I don't really think it needs it this time. That is a problem, okay? But how do you professionally navigate that and have that conversation with the client? What I do is I tackle it head on, and I speak absolute truth. I'm just very honest with them. I will call them up and I'll say, Mr. or Mrs. Smith, hey, I totally understand you wanting to skip the lawn service, but I would like to just, kind of talk with you about that really quick because from my end, just so we know and everybody's on the same page, I count on a certain amount of lawn services for my business from each client, and my schedule is full. And if I don't get those amount of lawn cuts, it really negatively affects my business. So I understand that you're needing this done this time, but I just wanted to mention it that if you think it's going to be something where you want the flexibility to routinely cancel your lawn service that is scheduled, I think we might need to work out finding you another company who would be better suited for you. I definitely want to keep you on, but I just want to have this conversation with you because I've ran into this in the past where we just end up canceling too many times from a particular client. Now that's the kind of verbiage that I will use in that situation, and 9 times out of 10 it just nips it in the bud because people understand like we are booked, like, and frankly, like if you have a spot on our schedule, like that is a valuable spot, like it really is, and I count on a certain amount of cuts, and if we're not getting that, like the value of that client to us is just tanks, and it's just sitting on our schedule. That's one way that I navigate that particular situation. So number two, I had a subscriber say that he services this person's lawn, and this person is killing him because they're so nice, but they are always asking for little extra things just to kind of slide it in there. And look, I get that, man. I've definitely been in that situation. We probably all have, where somebody's super nice and those little things, those little, I call it scope of work creep or scope creep, meaning that you are budgeting a certain amount of time and things to do in their lawn, but then you're there and then they ask you to remove it's a small little pile of limbs over there. Hey, the garbage guy, he wouldn't take it today. Would you mind putting that in your trailer? Like stuff like that. You have to kind of keep an eye out for that kind of stuff. And you will start noticing that if you hear that once from a client, you're probably going to start hearing it multiple times from them. And I've just found the best way to handle that is to nip it in the bud immediately. And here's what I say. It's very simple, and it goes, yes, I would be happy to give you an estimate for that. Leave it at that. I have learned that if you will just say, yes, I'd be happy to give you an estimate for that, it puts it back on them. You are willing to do the work. Like you will do what they're asking you to, but you need to be compensated for the extra time, the hauling away of the debris, or whatever it is. It could be all kinds of, like I have heard the most random things that clients have asked for, and they're just kind of expect you to just do it because you're the lawn care guy. No, I would be happy to provide an estimate for that. The next one that's kind of tough is, will you itemize the cost of this project? If you're just mowing grass, this typically isn't an issue. But if you are like doing a flower bed install or some basic landscaping, and you hear, will you itemize the cost of this project? You need to ask some follow-up questions, and you need to dig a little deeper to figure out what is the real reason they're asking that question. How I typically counter that question is, oh, is there a certain budget that you're looking to stay within? Because if so, if I have that number, I can work you up a plan and some recommendations based on that budget. It kind of puts it back on them. I do not like itemizing out estimates for people, again, because they will nickel and dime you every step of the way. But if I do, it is typically just a simple breakdown of this is materials and supplies and this is the labor charge, okay? So if you want to finagle your materials and supplies because you get products at wholesale prices and you want to inflate that number to retail prices, I totally understand that. That helps make your labor rate look lower. But truthfully, I don't really have a problem with saying, hey, this is materials and supplies. This is the execution of the project, the actual labor. I don't have a problem doing that, but I do not do that unless specifically requested by the homeowner. But again, the way you circle back around on that is you ask them, hey, typically whenever I get that question, somebody is looking to cut costs or stay within a certain budget. If I have that number, I can definitely make some recommendations. For example, the metal edging in your project, that is a very, very high ticket item. Like a lot of people don't know how expensive that steel edging is. To do 100 feet of that steel edging is very, very expensive. That's a huge materials expense. An alternative is we could just cut you a new border for your bed. You need to ask questions and then follow up with them and have a little bit deeper conversation with them, because if they're asking that, typically it is budget related, and it's not necessarily that they're trying to nickel and dime you, but they see the number and they're just not comfortable really knowing where all the money is going. The next tricky thing to navigate with homeowners is a complaint, and it could be a legitimate complaint, or it could be something that you feel is kind of ridiculous. And we've all been there, but here's what I want to tell you, that what I have learned, the easiest and most effective way to deal with that is this. You take complete ownership of the problem, assuming it is not just absolutely ridiculous. You do not try to defend yourself. You do not try to blame it certainly on your employees or anything like that. You take complete ownership of the problem. For example, a very common one is, hey, you guys, y'all blew a lot of grass in our pool, and I know my crew, they stress about blowing grass in the pool. They don't want to do it. They use the operator controlled discharge chute. They're weed eating and blowing it away at the same time. They're very, very mindful of that, okay? And in me, I just want to sometimes look at the client and be like, are you crazy? We literally are not trying to blow grass in your, that's one of the things that we absolutely don't want to do. And you can't say that. What I have learned is the best way to handle that is to say something like this. I'm really sorry. We really try really hard not to get grass in the pool. I have made a note in your service ticket to remind the crew and myself to be extra, extra careful in there. Again, we are mindful about that. We try not to do it, but we're going to be extra, extra careful next time we're on your property. And guys, I realize that is not an easy thing to do, again, because you just want to be like, well, duh, it was freaking windy. It's in March and I'm cutting the grass 30 feet away and it's blowing over into your pool. How can you not see that? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You just need to have an air of professionalism and confidence and humbleness, and be okay with biting your tongue. I heard somebody once say, you can be right or you can be rich. Which one do you want to be? I know which one I want to be. That's not to say that we are going to let people walk all over us. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is whenever you feel the need to defend yourself, stop. Most of the time, it is better to just err on the side of humility and humbleness. Take ownership of whatever silly mistake you think that it is. Own that situation and tell them, I've noted it. We're going to make sure that doesn't happen again. And finally, there may come a time when you absolutely have to just part ways with the client because you just know that it's not going to work out. And, I have seen on YouTube these guys that have said, hey, I'm going to load up some water balloons full of glyphosate, Roundup, and I'm just going to throw it on their lawn. It was the most stupid, ridiculous, do not do that. You will go to jail for something stupid like that. But I think we have all felt so frustrated with lawn care clients before. But again, the thing that I want to stress for you whenever you are firing or letting somebody go is this. You are the professional, okay? You are the person who is the business owner in your town, okay? You are a business owner. That is kind of a big deal. And if you don't think it's a big deal being a business owner in your town, that's a problem. It probably means you lack a little bit of maturity. So when you need to let somebody go, you do it with complete professionalism. You try to get them off to another lawn care service that you truly think is going to be a good fit, not somebody that you're just pawning off your problem on. And your interaction with that client is completely, utterly, and totally above reproach. It's not worth getting into a bad review battle with somebody over this. It's not worth, making somebody so upset and saying something ugly to them just because you feel jaded after having to deal with them. It's not worth it. That person in the future, they could be a decision maker for a huge contract or something. Like, you never know what is going to be around the corner. And my advice to you would be, if you do have to part ways with somebody, do it with complete and total utter professionalism. What common things do clients say to you that are sometimes difficult to navigate? Drop them down in the comments section. Let's interact on this, because I think everybody has those little things that they have learned over the years. I'd love to hear some tips and tricks from you. Y'all take care.